I'm Ryan Milliken from Hardway Performance, and you're listening to the Diesel Power Podcast.
This is Jaron Holder from Holder Down Performance.
This is Anthony Rings from XDP.
I'm Dimitri Miller with No Zone Diesel.
I'm Drew with D&J Precision Machine.
I'm Pinky.
And you're listening to the Diesel Power Podcast.
Diesel Power Podcast.
Diesel Power Podcast.
And you're listening to the Diesel Power Podcast.
The one and only Diesel Power Podcast.
Welcome, Diesel fans, to our next episode in the series we call The Women of Diesel. Today we've got Pinky, who you guys know from Comp D, the Facebook group Power Stroke, and all the hard work and dedication she's put in to helping get the Dyno for Dex event to take off. Well, we want to thank you for being on the podcast, Pinky. By popular demand, you've been requested numerous times, and we're excited to have you on the show today.
I am super fucking excited to be here. Here we go. We're going to start with that. Figures. I am really excited to be here, and I kind of love everyone that has requested it, so here I am.
Awesome. What have you been up to? Looks like you've been staying busy from Facebook updates and everything.
Holy good Lord. Well, if I don't, then people text, hey, you still alive? Hey, everything okay? Or they call a shop. So, yeah, it's been more than busy. Busy is like understatement of the century.
Well, it's springtime. I mean, that's when people they get their tax money back and want to do stuff to their trucks, and they're getting ready for summer and everything. So it's a pretty busy time. Yeah,
we just get mostly it's getting really hot and shit is overheating. Can you help me fix it? So there's that.
So where did you get the name Pinky? Where did that come from?
That started, oh my gosh, high school? Had to have been high school. I don't know that middle school is really the nickname other than just my last name of Ruggles, but just because everything I think I've ever owned, I mean, you name it, I probably fucking own it, is pink. And so it was a variation of pink, Pinky, something along those lines, and it just stuck hard. And I never really went by my first name. I still don't really use my first name. So Pinky just was what it always was. Hadn't gone away. I think it's going to be here permanently.
When I remember a long time ago, like before I was ever owned a company or worked for a company or anything, I remember I'd go on Comp D and I saw you on there and I thought, Pinky, where did you get that name from? And then I saw your truck. You have a 6-liter, right? And it has pink on it.
Well, that's my girl. Having some pink on it is, again, another understatement. But yes, that's my girl.
What was it your first truck? Or your first diesel truck? Or did you have other ones before that?
Kind of, sort of. That's a good question. So it's the first one that has been entirely mine that's really daily drivable that I actually trusted. Ironic enough, because it's 6-liter. Bad joke. But I first learned, I want to say it was 2004-ish. It was an old IDI 6.9 that my friends had that was just an old junker. It was just a hunk of shit that just sat there. And that's what I was allowed to start tinkering on because I couldn't hurt it. I mean, what was I really going to do to it other than put some more dents and scratches in it? And then there was an old 7.3 that we kind of bombed around in. But the 04 that I have now is my first, like, big girl truck, I guess you could say. It's the nice one. It's the daily driver. It's the dependable, reliable thing that I scoot around in. So first, really, that's mine. The guys kind of objected to any kind of pink on the truck back then. So, whatever. I do what I want. I got it now.
Yeah, you do. Well, I wanted to, I definitely wanted to make sure I pronounced your name correctly because as I've learned recently, I guess I have an accent. And I pronounce my A's longer, I guess.
I think there's only one A, and you haven't gotten to that part of my name. It's only one of my middle names, so I think you're good. As long as you're not one of those weirdos. But I think you're good. I could be wrong. I mean, you are fucking weird, but I think we're good.
It's so funny because I'm always fascinated by accents because we all speak English. However, depending on what part of the country you're in, it can always be different. It's just always been something I've been fascinated by. But I didn't think I had one or pronounced some words with an accent till my last podcast with Bainan Loosley, which I pronounced his name correctly there. Woo! And our discussion of Wikipedia, instead of Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's Wikipedia. Wikipedia.
It's like 50-50. I've heard people say Wikipedia and Wikipedia, but
Ew. That's as bad as someone saying Wi-Fi instead of Wi-Fi. That's just ew. You just don't. Don't be that person. Don't be that person.
Don't be that guy.
I'm telling you. Ugh. And don't let Squirrel Face get to you. He knows exactly what I'm talking about.
That was cool. It just made me rethink. So now I'm like going back through like all the guest lists and all the people we've talked to.
He's such a troll. I love him, but he's a troll. Comp D for you.
When did you first get on Comp D?
I think I finally got convinced to join in 2011, and I had lurked since about 2010. Just with school and everything, it wasn't really pertinent for me to join. I just did not have the time to dedicate to it. And 2011, I want to say it was July-ish, and holy fuck, was I wrong in thinking that it wasn't going to be any kind of sideshow. I was totally wrong. Oh, was I so wrong? But I am so glad that I was so wrong. I don't think I've ever met such a great group of people. Total trolls, total ding-dong. Love them to pieces.
So I've heard that Pinky is your actual name. Is that true?
That is correct. So a lot of people would not call me Pinky. Well, that's not your name. Or they've known me as Christine, or they know me as Ruggles, really, more than anything. But the majority of people know me as Pinky and just as a nickname. I had been thinking about it a while back, but was kind of like, it just seems kind of silly, and I don't know how to justify it other than just being a total retard. And then I ran into an incident where some butthurt individuals, I don't know who they are, never find out, don't really care. Thanks for thinking of me, that decided to report my profile as being fake or not a right name, and Facebook shut it down until I verified that Pinky was part of my name. And I mean, that's what people searched for me as, is Pinky. They didn't ever type in my first name because no one calls me that. I was mad. Ooh, I was mad. I was locked out for about a week. I finally had enough, and I couldn't do my job at that point, and I was just really irritated. So I went to my boss, and I said, I'm going to change my name, and I'm going to add Pinky to my name. And he said, hell yes. So last July, I went and filled out all the paperwork and went to the courthouse and legally added Pinky as one of my middle names. My full name now is Christine Marie Pinky Ruggles. Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
So, and actually, it's funny because recently, I guess another rash of individuals got butthurt because I banned them from the page, or God knows why. Like, again, thanks for thinking of me. They reported my profile as not being the correct name, and I have my court document that verifies my name, and I just put it into a little PDF uploader, and 5 seconds later, I'm back online. Like, come at me, bro. Like, I mean, it's my name. Get over it. Yeah, it truly is my name. Still in the process because I'm lazy of putting it on my driver's license and passport, but a recent incident that I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate, I went to go pick up some parts from my FFL, and filling out part of the paperwork, I just put my full name down. He goes, and before he does a background check, he goes, is that really your name? Like, dude, I'll pull out the court paperwork because I keep it with me in case I have to. He goes, no, it'll tell me if it's not right. And it went through, and he's just like, okay, that's a new one. So it's fun. It's a conversation piece at the very least.
That's awesome. You know, the best part is that people can still report it, but it's legit. I mean, they can click that button all they want, but
like I said, come at me, bro. Like, click that button. Go on. It's not going to do anything. If it makes you feel better, honey, sugar, just go ahead and do it. It's okay. I'll forgive you. All that matters is it's my fucking name. I'm just saying.
Oh, that is awesome. Comp D is so cool because I've looked on there and just kind of lurked around for a while. But I'm not going to lie. the epic beatdowns I've seen on there are probably some of my most favorite things ever to read. Some were deserved, some weren't, but it's just like a no holds barred. You want answers, you might not like them, and we're going to tell you. And it's just it's cool and refreshing, versus the PC kind of bullshit that goes on in so many other places. I think that's why people gravitate towards it,
Yeah, I think part of the other reason too is just the people, the guys that are on CompD that run it, that are some of the founding members of it, that are some of the guys that you just have sat and watched at the track so many times, and they'll get on there and they'll say something totally outlandish, full of bullshit, and then just not come back for like a couple of weeks. And you're like, what? No, what was that? I think that's part of my favorite. Like, that's seriously part of why I love it. And then others, I think, join because they think they control CompD. And if you get on CompD thinking you're going to troll CompD, you are so wrong. And you were in the wrong place. Big time wrong place. That's what I like seeing. That's what I love.
I had a conversation with Tim from CompD recently, or maybe a month or two ago, and I was cracking up so much, like the stories and just everything he was telling me. I couldn't keep it together. Like it was like humor, but he has a ton of knowledge, and he was talking about all the different people that are on there and the diesel kind of scene and community and the direction, it's heading, and just all these cool things. And I was like, that's why people need to register for CompD and go on there. Like, don't be a dick when you go on there, but go on there because you'll learn a lot,
I mean, go on there and be a dick if you want to. I will grab the popcorn. I'm sure everybody else will too. But, no, I love Tim. Tim and all of the admins on there, all of those mods. Oh, my gosh. I feel like I have a ton of big brothers everywhere I am. I mean, all the time. They have been so fucking fantastic. I feel so lucky to have been even somewhat accepted into that community by them. I mean, the diesel community as a whole, sure, but then just that CompD crowd in general. I mean, those are the guys. Like, those are the ones you want to get to know, you want to listen to when they speak, you want to hear the stories and the things they have to say, because they may be the goofiest guys you've ever met, but they have forgotten more than I'll probably ever know in my life. And I think that's awesome that they reach out the way they do. I love those guys.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a great group of guys. I don't know all of them. I just know a handful of people, but I've been definitely impressed. And there's a ton of info there, like people that are on there from way back when it started. Like, they're the OGs of diesel performance and parts. Like, if you want to learn some stuff, they're there.
Yes. They lurk. Every now and again, they'll come and say something totally epic, just like mic drop epic shit, and then just leave.
And there's a lot of cool events too, like the CompD hosts and sponsors. But for like some of our listeners who aren't on CompD or haven't spent a lot of time on there, what kind of events and things does the forum and the people, like yourself and the people you mentioned, what do
they're really, really involved in ODSS. I know that big circuit. That's where a lot of guys like to go. And then we've got people like John Robinson and taking the diesel to NHRA and doing what he's doing, kicking ass. And then, I'm going to try not to cry on this one. We had Dex Brown on CompD with us, who was just one of the most incredible people this world has ever had. And to know him, to have been able to talk to him, and then to call him a best friend, probably one of the highlights of my life. I mean, this guy is he was one of a kind. And he had always wanted to do a diesel and gas event together because that was his world. That's where he was. He was in the middle of diesels and gassers. And he and Nick Carson had talked about it, up there in Oklahoma, and they were starting to get it together, and we were throwing ideas around. And then in June, which is coming up way too soon, we lost him way too early. And Nick got a hold of me and said, this is what I want to do. Let's make it happen. And we are now going into our 4th year of the Dyno for Dex. It is now a huge event because NHRDA has picked it up on their point circuit. It is now the Oklahoma National Diesel event and the Dyno for Dex. And they have just given us so much by helping us raise proceeds for the Racers Relief Fund that we run through the Dino for Decks. And CompD has just been our backbone. I mean, I don't know what I would do without those guys. I look forward to this event every fucking year because they're all going to be there. And I can squeeze each and every one of them. And I scream and shriek and get so excited. Of course I cry because I'm a girl. I actually am a girl sometimes. Hard to believe, I know, but God, they go all out. They go all in for us, and they are just 100% behind all of this. And it is such a family, and for them to step up and do what they do and the way they do it, I could not have been luckier to have fallen into a group like that. They're awesome. And the Dino for Decks this year is May 21st at Tulsa Raceway Park. And it's gonna be fucking epic. I just cannot believe what it's turned into at this point. In its fourth year, it has just come from an event on a dyno in a shop in Tulsa to this. It's incredible.
I think it's a testament to Dex and to his friends and the impact he made. And I never had the opportunity or the pleasure to know him personally, but I would get on CompD. And I don't remember what section it was in, but he would post like this funny stuff all the time. And I would go on there and just die laughing at my desk, and people look at me like I'm weird, but I would go through it and like just read this stuff. And just as a random person on a forum, I would see it and it would brighten up my day. And I think that the success of this event and what you and a lot of people have put into it, it's really special and it's really cool. I mean, it's something it's on my list of events I want to attend. I want to go. I want to see it. I want to be there and meet everyone. And hopefully I can do it, here coming up soon. And I think it's really cool, to see the community come together like that and friends and what it does for everyone.
I hope you do. I really hope you do. It's just bringing people from all over. I mean, I know all of the events are really cool, and it's really fun to have everyone hang out, but I just feel like this one just has such a life of its own because of what it does for the local community. We give back, and we have given back to families within the diesel community in terms of helping with funds when things happen. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're family, we're diesel family, and this is what it's supposed to be. It's CompD family, and that's what we do. And for everyone to attend and be there to support it, it means so much to all of us, and it just really reaffirms what we're doing and why we're doing it. Absolutely.
Social media has taken, I think it's kind of taken over the whole modern Western world, but especially as it pertains to what we love, which is diesel trucks, it's taken it to a whole new level, from where it was like when we probably first got our trucks and we're really excited about them. And I've heard through the grapevine from sources that cannot be named that you have a banhammer for a social media group that you help moderate. And I wanted to ask you, does this banhammer exist? And if so, what is the story behind it?
I 100% have a real live fucking banhammer. Oh, yeah. So my friend Drew, who is like a bigger brother to me, actually gave it to me. He came into town last year and presented me with an actual banhammer. It is a 6.0 piston affixed to a handle, and it is pink.
That is
awesome. On my desk at work, and I threaten people with it every day, multiple times a day. Someone starts running their mouth, especially on that group, I just post a picture of the banhammer. I mean, it's gotten to the point where I don't even have to see it, and I just get tagged, and it's, get him, Pinky, get him, every single time. Because it's always a, bye, Felicia, and then drop the banhammer. And it's almost like, would you fucking dogs, go lie down. Sorry. It's almost like it's taken on a life of its own at this point. And I've seen other admins on other groups, I see you, using the bye, Felicia, before they ban somebody or kick somebody out of the group. And it cracks me the fuck up. I love it. I love every bit of it. Yeah, that sucker exists. It's a big old heavy thing, and someone grabs a hold of it every now and again and tries to swing it around, but there's only one wielder of the banhammer.
That's awesome. I need a banhammer.
Dude, thing is awesome. It is so legit. I do have another piston sitting on my desk, but it's out of the Detroit, and the thing is like 4 times the size of the 6.0 piston. So I don't know if it works so well, but it's there.
Social media is crazy. Like, it is fun, but then I'm sure you see like way more of it than, you know, probably I have. But it's like some people just need to get fucking banned. Like, there's no nice way to say it. Like, you just need to.
Some people's kids. Some people's kids. Like, there are some days where I'm just like, stupid must have gotten released in the water, and it's all just in Pinky's world. For whatever reason, they decide that they have got to come to me about something that happened, and I could be in the middle of O-ringing the stupid Stickum inspection plate covers. So I have no hands to do anything else with, but Lord, here they come, the whole rush of them. Pinky, get them. I mean, it was like 20 people at a time. Do you know how long that takes? It takes forever. And then I got hate messages for like the next week and a half. And I mean, ain't care, but it's part of it. I mean, some people just can't read directions.
Somebody's got to bring order to the chaos, you know?
I guess that's why they have the one-woman admin. I guess that's why. I don't know. They think it's fun. It works for me. Like I said, ain't care.
Now, like, you're very well known. You're very well respected. You've been around the diesel community longer than I have. But we do have people that listen to us, and they always want us to get, like, right to the diesel stuff. And one of the things that I've been adamant about is that that's boring. I mean, you can go on forums and read articles and everything else like that about all these great manufacturers and people, but it's the story behind it that I think, you know, makes it personal. And before we got into that, I wanted to, you know, kind of introduce you to our guests that may not know you, but you're so involved in the Power Stroke, you know, segment of the industry, and I wanted you to tell us all a bit about what you do, you know, from 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. What do you do during the week? What's your day job, so to speak?
Well, I work at Bulletproof Diesel, which is a 6.0 specialty shop in Mesa, Arizona. We do some 6.4 and 6.7 work lightly, but it's 6.0s are what they're really known for. And we have really coined that term of the Bulletproof 6.0. We do the air-to-oil cooler solutions for the 6.0s. We do the upgraded EGR cooler solutions, water pumps, Stickums, you name it. You know, we've got what we consider the major pattern failure fixes for the 6.0. And so day in, day out, that's what I do. And so having a 6.0 of my own, it's been really beneficial because I've come in with a lot of knowledge, but I'm also learning so much more while I'm here. And my job there is, oh my God, it's all over the place, really. Everything from taking sales orders to helping ship stuff to helping with the R&D organization to just daily operations up front when customers come in, getting trucks, putting trucks in the backyard. You name it, I help with it. The biggest thing I do is also their social media and any kind of community outreach. So, spoiler alert, when you're talking to somebody on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, forums, you name it, probably 9 times out of 10 it's going to be me. Sorry to bust your bubble. But I handle a lot of the customer support on that end because I just, between the shops and the individuals that I know, it's easy. It's what I'm already doing. So between the professional profile and my own, I talk to, I don't even know how many people a day. Good friggin' Lord. Like, more than I care to count. But that's essentially, I mean, I give shop tours when people come in or joke around or that kind of thing. It's just kind of a little bit of everything there. So it keeps it pretty interesting. I want to say it's 8 to 5, but it really isn't. I wake up in the mornings with time zone differences to messages and questions, and I get home and I get messages until I go to sleep. You know, it's just day in, day out, which I don't mind at all because I like knowing that people associate me with, 1, knowing what I'm fucking doing, and 2, feeling comfortable enough to ask me. kind of thing. So it's pretty cool. It's a little overwhelming sometimes because you just don't realize how many people know who you are, and you feel bad because you don't really know who they are.
You also have your own line of products. Tell us about that.
So that was a huge surprise. So if you guys and have known me for a while as well, harassing Ken and Jean, the owners of Bulletproof, about, well, Pinky's been there for a year now. How come there aren't any pink anodized parts? And for those who don't know, we anodize a lot of our products, and most of it is black or blue. Some of them are red, but majority are black and blue. And, how come she can have all the boring stuff? Like, why isn't there pink anodized stuff? And I think they poked the bear enough times that last year in March, right before one of the off-road races, Ken and Jean called me into their office, and I was like, oh, shit. I know I didn't do anything. What is going on? You feel like you're in the principal's office. And they're like, well, we've decided that we'd really like to do a Pinky signature series of products. And I just started crying. I just started bawling because, first of all, I'm working at one of the most reputable shops out there, especially in the Power Stroke world. Second of all, they think enough of me and my obsession with the color pink to make their products pink. On top of that, my signature is engraved in them. Like, mind fucking blown. Like, I didn't know what to do. I thought it was a joke. I thought there's no way. But no, they did a run of our fuel filter, oil filter, and oil fill caps, all in pink with my signature on them. Same with the 6.0 and some 6.4 water pumps and the Thickum covers. Like, blows my mind. And they sold out in, 2 months. I still don't really have the words to describe how it feels. Even when I see, we have a little slider on our homepage, and when I'm helping a customer, every now and again I'll see it slide across the homepage. I'm like, holy fuck, that's my name. My name is on diesel products, on parts. What? And it humbles me to no end, because that's huge. It wasn't my idea. It wasn't out of no, I didn't have anything to do with it other than existing, and that to me is just enormous. So, yeah.
Now, to get back to my story mode, because I like stories, were you, when you thought of, getting into the diesel industry, did you work in it before, or what did you do before Bulletproof Diesel, I guess is what I'm asking?
So I originally went to college for biology. I had originally wanted to be a high school biology teacher. I was doing biology all through all my life. That's all I was. A giant science nerd. Big old bio nerd. It's what I love. I still love it. It's still my number one thing. But I was in grad school, and I was working way too much, and the master's program I was going through was really just beating me down. And it wasn't that it was hard. It was that it was just tedious. It didn't feel like it was benefiting me. I don't feel like if I had had a classroom at that point, it would have benefited my students. I was like, fuck it, I'm out. I got to do something else. I had been to Texas earlier in 2009 for my 24th birthday, and I fell in love. There was nothing about it that I didn't like. I even got to be there for one of their spring thunderstorms, and I couldn't get enough. And I said, I got to go. I've got to be there. So I applied for a job that I flew out, interviewed, and actually on my flight home, in between my flights, they called and offered the position. I accepted, flew home, took a cab to my job where my car was waiting, and put in my 3 weeks notice, went home that night and said, I have to pack because I'm leaving for Texas in 3 weeks. So the job there was a bioorganic chemistry lab that worked primarily with B12 or thiamine. A lot of bacteria, a lot of yeast kind of based things, a lot of protein work, that type of stuff. I helped daily operations, bringing in our new grad students, hiring in our postdocs kind of thing. it was a nerd job. I mean, I was a total nerd. I got to talk to the NIH all the time. I put on programs for them. I ran symposiums. I got to talk to some of the top bioorganic, organic, biology-related chemists and biologists out there. I mean, I met so many incredible people, and I got to nerd out every fucking day. Like, it was so cool. We were in an interdisciplinary life sciences building, so we had physics and biophysics and biology, and so we had every realm of the nerds and, like, some of the top nerds in that building, and it was awesome. But I was kind of an outsider almost a little bit because I also enjoyed hunting and shooting and drove this big diesel truck and rode horses and had dogs, and it just didn't quite fit all of the lifestyles within that nerd realm. And so I stuck out like a sore thumb sometimes. But they totally loved it. They loved coming in to see, well, what are you going to do next? And, you know, what do you think about this? And they loved following along with all that stuff. And I want to say it was 2012. I got contacted by an administrator, Sean Carlson. I know you're listening. He contacted me on the org and said, hey, the owners of Bulletproof Diesel have noticed, you know, you're really active, people pay attention, and they want to know if you want to be a beta tester for some of their new products coming out. And I was like, hell yeah, I guess Bulletproof Diesel, like, that's cool as hell. I'll never be able to afford that stuff, but sure. And they asked us to run their beta test pick'em. And I thought that was really cool. Like, not a lot of people get that kind of opportunity, and here I am going, well, my pick'em is starting to die a little bit on me, and this company wants me to beta test. Fuck yeah, I'll put it into my truck. Like, the conditions are, you know, you've got to be able to do it yourself, and if you have a problem, you have to be able to diagnose it and fix it, and, you know, all the normal stuff. But being excited about a company like that contacting you is kind of like, I don't really care, I just want to do it. So I got a pick'em, bright, shiny, raw billet case, and slap that sucker in there, and that was kind of like the beginning of the end almost.
That's how it all starts. It starts with like one upgrade or like for me it was Diesel Power magazine so many years ago. I would go buy it. That started my diesel obsession, you know, and then it was totally just like one part, and then once you buy one part, you're never gonna stop. You know, it's always gonna keep going, and it's always so cool to hear, you know, the stories behind, you know, like if I call Bulletproof Diesel and I get Pinky on the phone, just to know, you know.
Bella agrees.
One of the things that has been very important to us, you know, having a podcast, is a segment of the community that I personally feel gets overlooked. And, you know, in some cases it's just downright nasty, but we started the Women of Diesel series to show, you know, what women in all the different parts of the community do, and how many women out there love diesel trucks, and they love to race them, and they love to make them look however they want, and they're just passionate about it. And so I wanted to ask you, having, you know, been in the community so long and you work in it, is what would you tell women, or what advice would you give them if they love trucks, they want to have one, but parts of the community can be, to put it bluntly, can be just downright nasty about it?
It's hard. I won't lie. I mean, someone that really, I have a stock truck. There is nothing special to say under the hood other than all that pink that I have under there. It's mine. It's my blood, sweat, and tears under there, along with my friends, and that's the biggest thing, is it's mine. It wasn't ever a boyfriend that I took. It wasn't ever my dad that he got for me. It wasn't ever my dad that he gifted. Like, it never had anything to do with anybody else. It was mine. And that's the biggest thing I think that they run into is, oh, that's cute driving your dad's truck, or oh, that's cute driving your boyfriend's. You know what I mean? Like, all the damn time. And sometimes that's true, but you know what? So fucking what? I mean, oh my God. Who cares?
There's dudes that do it. There's guys.
Don't even get me started with that. Holy hell. No. But I'm just like, be excited that there are these people that want to get involved, that want to put money into that industry. I mean, come on. There are a lot of shops a lot of us that could definitely use that kind of money coming into this industry to keep it going, to keep it alive, to keep the fresh blood coming, to keep new ideas, new faces, everything. You can't ever get rid of the OG. You can't ever think that whoever started it and really ran with it isn't relevant. But by telling women or making women feel like it's uncool or they're automatically truck sluts because they like their boyfriend's truck, I just think that's really fucked up. It really is. And it's hard for me sometimes because I've been on the end of that. I've been on the receiving end of that a few times. Oh, that's cute, Barbie Daddy's truck. And I'm kind of like, my dad hates it because my dad hates the color pink. I mean, he hates it with a passion. And I got my Ford Passion from him. But that truck was never his and isn't his. And he totally respects the fact that it's mine and I'm doing what I want with it. Like, that's my time, my money, my everything into it. And it frustrates me. I know these guys are like, oh, what a feminist. Like, fuck off. I just think that it's important to encourage people with the right mindset to get involved. Like, we can use the fresh blood. We can use fresh eyes. We can use new people, new faces, because, let's face it, one of these days we're all going to be 80, and we're not going to be out there wrenching like we used to, okay? It's going to happen.
No, exactly.
And you want people out there to carry that on for us and have the right idea. So instead of putting them down, teach them. Ask them, well, what is it that you want to know? Or, you know what I mean? Like, got to gauge every situation. Don't just assume that it's all one thing. I mean, yeah, there are exceptions to every rule. Trust me, I've met them too. But encourage it. You know, don't discourage it as much as it does. And I know it's hard. I know a lot of girls don't want to get into it. But, you know, bravo to you if you have your truck. Whether it was bought for you or you bought it, it's yours. It's what you want. Do what you do. I get hated on all the damn time for mine. I mean, some people flat out hate it. And they don't like me because of it. Just because they hate my truck. Fine. Cool. Like, do you want a cookie? It's mine. I didn't do it for you. I didn't do it for anybody else. That is an expression of me. And so I think it's totally rad when women get involved and really want to get involved for the right reasons, kind of thing. So, more power to them. I know a lot of women out there that I totally encourage to keep doing it.
You know, the part that gets me is I see it, and I see the bashing. But how many of them truly think, are all the engineers that designed this engine men? Probably not. Are all the people who designed this turbo men? Probably not. I mean, and it's so disheartening to see because, as you mentioned, like, we need new blood. Like, the diesel community isn't the largest auto segment that's out there. Like, it pales in comparison to gas vehicles. And it's probably more under a microscope than any other part of the auto industry.
Absolutely.
And, you know, with different things that are out there. And you have to bring in new people. You have to interest them in, why do I want to get the green handle? Or in some states it's a yellow handle or different colors. But how do you interest someone in driving a vehicle where you have to search out a specific type handle at a fuel station?
Seriously.
And, you know, it's not being a douchebag on social media, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Just like we were talking about with Comp D, like the trolling and the bashing, like, dude, it's hilarious. And it's really fun sometimes. And we're all guilty of it, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just when you do it all the time to all the people that aren't you or in your group, I think that's when it starts to kind of give us a bad name when we don't need the help with that. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many good people in this industry, so many good people, and I am happy to know a whole lot of them. I mean, I am so lucky to have them in my life. And it makes me feel bad because there are these people that get to know a very similar group, and they're just like, nope, fuck it, I'm out. I don't want to deal with that. You know, too much drama, too much of this, and they just leave, and it's kind of like, well, man, there goes whatever it was that we could have had, their ideas or something. So it just gets a little frustrating sometimes. Not to say that some of them don't belong and we don't really need them around. Every group has that. But for the most part, I think it's just a mindset that we need to work on changing.
Absolutely. Well, I think you're doing a you inspire, so many people. It doesn't have to be just women, but what you do and the way that you communicate and the ideas that you have and what you do at Bulletproof Diesel, it inspires a lot of people. And, it was, something we're really excited to have you on the podcast to talk to you and ask all these things, so we're tremendously happy you could make it on. And I know a lot of people are going to want to, know, where can I see updates from Pinky? Where's the, where can I see, her social media page and all this stuff? Where can people go to see what you're working on? Things that are going on in the shop, events you're going to, things like that.
So, because like I mentioned before, I do run our social media. I do run the Bulletproof Diesel Facebook page, which is Bulletproof Diesel. Type that bitch in and find me. It's pretty easy. And then a year and a half ago or so, right before I changed my name, I had to get a public page for myself because I had so many, and this isn't to sound like egotistical or anything, this is just fact. Like, I had so many incoming friend requests because people that are just messaging you, like, want to add you as a friend and message you instead of just, hey, let me message you and ask you a question. And it got to the point where I couldn't really keep my personal profile mine. So I opened up the Pinky page, and it's just a personal page that's turned public for people so that they can see the bullshit that I'm doing on the weekends, see the cool stuff I'm working on at work. Like right now, the desk at work is just a hot mess with more truck parts on it than there probably should be in an office, but they're there. So it's just Pinky, I think it's public figure. You'll see it, and the retard wearing pink yoga pants sitting on the truck. It's there. And then our Instagram page is also pretty big for us, just Bulletproof Diesel as well. But we're there. We have a presence, and we love people interacting. Trust me, I love when people comment, like, want to know more. It's fun for me. I like that. So if you're wanting to know or if you don't really care, either way, we're there. I promise. And I try to talk to every single person that messages, comments, anything. I want people to know that we care as much as they do.
Well, we want to thank you, Pinky, for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with us and tell us more and our listeners. And we're really glad that you came on. We can't wait to get this episode out there for people and hopefully inspire people out there, whether they're men or women, to and just embrace their love for diesel trucks, and wherever it takes them, it takes them.
I hope so. I really do. I can't thank y'all enough, and for all of you who nominated me, especially you, Mark Harris. Yeah, I see you. It's humbling and it's flattering, and I still can't believe that somebody wanted me to come and do something like this. Y'all want to hear me jabber on for a while, but I am truly thankful. So I want to say thank you very much for having me on the best diesel power podcast that is out there.
Pinky, thank you again for coming on the podcast, chatting with us about your love for your 6-liter Power Stroke, your work with Bulletproof Diesel, social media, the whole entire diesel community. We really appreciate it. All of our listeners out there, mark your calendars off for May 21st at Tulsa Raceway Park in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There's going to be a ton of cool trucks out there. The Dyno for Decks event. If you guys are looking for a place to go, meet people who are, just as passionate about trucks as you are, you got to be there. Until next time, keep the shiny side up.